I wake up and my name is already printed in bold. Zlatan Ibrahimović, BetHard shareholder. Under UEFA investigation. It's not a rumor. It's registered. I owned shares in a Malta-based betting company while playing for AC Milan, while returning to the Swedish national team. UEFA rules are clear. Active players cannot hold financial interests in football betting operations. They opened the investigation formally. 50,000 euros for me, 100,000 for my company. 3-year suspension discussed, not applied, but discussed is enough. My phone vibrates without stopping. Lawyers first, then agents, then silence from people who usually speak quickly. The headlines don't shout. They calculate. Ethics breach, conflict of interest, transparency in question. My name used to enter rooms like a trophy. Now it enters like a liability waiver. At Milanello, nothing looks different. Security still nods. Doors still open automatically. Teammates still step aside in the hallway. But conversations shorten when I approach. Jokes pause mid-sentence. Phones tilt downward. No one asks me directly. They ask carefully shaped questions around me. The Lukaku clash. The arrogance quotes. Old interviews where I called myself a god. They replay everything, not to understand it, to stack it. I sit in the locker room. My jersey hangs exactly where it always has. Number unchanged. Power is strange. It doesn't disappear. It just becomes cautious. Sponsors don't withdraw immediately. They review. Federations don't accuse. They monitor. Reporters wait outside like accountants. I walk past them. No apology. No explanation. The scandal already happened. The fine already paid. The investigation already closed. But my name is different now. It moves ahead of me. Enters rooms first. Tests the temperature. People still respect me. They just measure the distance. I am still Zlatan. But now, when I sit down at a table, everyone calculates what it costs to be near me. I wake up before the calls begin. They've already sent the schedule. Revised. Reduced. No interviews without approval. No live microphones. No comments on financial matters. No references to betting ethics, governance, transparency. They list the words like banned substances. At breakfast, my agent sits across from me with 2 phones. One for me, one for damage control. Training only, he says. Head down, I nod. Then I open my own social media. I post a photo from the gym. Caption, risk is part of the game. Neutral sentence, not about betting, not about UEFA. Within minutes, sports media rewrites it. Cryptic message from Ibrahimović. Defiance. Subtle response to investigation. My agent's second phone starts vibrating. He asks me to delete it. I don't. At Milanello, the club liaison walks beside me like security. Not to protect me, to protect the club from me. A sponsor representative waits in a conference room. They smile carefully. They thank me for my professionalism. Then they slide a document across the table. Temporary suspension of joint promotional appearances until public perception stabilizes. I sign it without reading the second page. The pen feels heavier than usual. Training begins. Cameras are suddenly everywhere. Not official ones. Long lenses from beyond the fence. I take shots from distance. Hard, aggressive. A defender clips my ankle. Normally, I laugh. Today, I don't. I stare at him 2 seconds too long. By evening, a clip circulates online. Ibrahimović visibly tense after scandal. Team morale affected. It was 2 seconds. In the locker room, a younger teammate asks me quietly, Is it true they could have banned you for 3 years? He asks like he's asking about an injury. Yes, I say. That single word appears on a news site an hour later. Ibrahimović admits severity of case. Admits. I did not admit anything. The investigation already concluded. The fine already paid. But when I speak, verbs grow teeth. In the afternoon, I receive a call from a federation official. Polite voice, formal tone. They remind me that I represent Sweden, that the national team is built on trust, that optics matter. They never say the word betting. They never say conflict of interest. They say responsibility. I ask them a simple question. If a player invests in tech, no problem. If he invests in fashion, no problem. But betting is poison silence. Then, this line of discussion is not helpful. Not helpful means dangerous. I give a short interview outside the training ground anyway, unscheduled. A journalist asks if I regret owning shares in BetHard. I pause long enough to make everyone nervous. I regret that football pretends money is clean, I say. Not loud, not angry, just clear. Within an hour, headlines multiply. Ibrahimović attacks football integrity. New controversy erupts. Zlatan refuses remorse. PR calls me immediately. You cannot frame it like that, they say. I didn't frame it. I answered. They draft a clarification. I refuse to post it. By evening, television panels debate my character. They bring up Lukaku, my old interviews, the God comments. They stitch arrogance to investment, investment to ethics, ethics to personality, a complete portrait built from separate scandals. I watch myself on screen. The version of me they discuss is efficient, simplified, convenient. I drive home without music. At a red light, someone recognizes me and records from the next car. Tomorrow, the clip will say, Ibrahimović silent after explosive remarks. Silence is now interpreted. Movement is interpreted. Breathing is interpreted. I know this power is temporary. The ability to destabilize a press room with one sentence. To force clubs and federations to calculate risk in real time. So I use it. Not recklessly. Precisely. I answer directly when I am expected to deflect. I stay silent when they prepare statements. I refuse to perform remorse on cue. Every neutral action becomes strategy in their hands. Every sentence becomes a weapon in mine. But I can feel the narrowing. Sponsors step back. Officials grow colder. Journalists grow bolder. Truth shrinks when it passes through my name. Not because it changes, because it carries history. Tonight I sit alone with the fine, paid the suspension, avoided the investigation closed. Officially, nothing is pending. Unofficially, everything is. I am still allowed on the pitch, but off it I move like a man walking through a room full of dry grass. And everyone is waiting to see if I spark. Night is quieter, not peaceful, just controlled. My house is large enough to feel empty on command. Security at the gate, cameras along the walls, protection that looks identical to surveillance. I sit in the kitchen with the lights dimmed. The fine is paid, 50,000 euros, another 100 from my company. Numbers that don't change my life. But they change how my life is read. My phone is face down on the table. If I turn it over, I will see analysis, debate panels, clips of my pause before answering a question. They slow my silence down to study it. I built my name on certainty, on volume, on occupying space without apology. Now I measure sentences before they leave my mouth. Not because I'm afraid, Because every word mutates once it leaves me. That is the cost. Not the money. Not the investigation. Not even the threat of 3 years suspended. It is the conversion. Influence turning into containment. I still have power. Doors still open. Meetings still happen when I request them. But the room listens differently. Not to what I say, to what they can extract. There is a difference between being powerful and being handled. I feel it in the pauses, in the polite tones, in the way people over-explain obvious things, as if I might ignite them. Fame becomes a hallway with mirrored walls. Every movement reflects back, distorted, larger, sharper. I used to enjoy the echo. Now I hear the surveillance inside it. Tomorrow, training resumes. Headlines move on. Another scandal somewhere else. On paper, I return to normal. But the name does not reset. Zlatan Ibrahimović is no longer just a striker. He is a case study, a reference point for ethics clauses and compliance meetings. Reputation does not expire. It accumulates. Lukaku, arrogance, BetHard, separate incidents, permanent archive. It is strange how easy it was to step into this life for a day, to speak once and watch institutions adjust, to feel rooms recalibrate around a single sentence. It feels powerful. It is also claustrophobic, because the higher the platform, the narrower it becomes. There is less space to move without consequence. I stand and walk past the trophies in the hallway. They look untouched. They are not part of the investigation, but they are part of the story people tell about me. Everything is. I turn off the kitchen light. In the dark, the house feels almost anonymous. Tomorrow, I will wake up as myself again. Not this name. I will move through rooms without cameras calculating my tone, and nothing I say will open a compliance review. There is no relief in that thought. I give a short interview outside the training ground anyway, unscheduled. A journalist asks if I regret owning shares in BetHard. I pause long enough to make everyone nervous. I regret that football pretends money is clean, I say. Not loud, not angry, just clear. Within an hour, headlines multiply. Ibrahimović attacks football integrity. New controversy erupts.